My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake.
Okay, and welcome. We are still figuring this out. All right. I want to say thank you and welcome to Joe Knows South Lake. We are still running, obviously, remotely because of isolation. I want to say thank you for joining. I want to tell you, please, if you like us, if you're watching us on the social media channels, please like, love, and share. And share is very, very important for all of this information. I want you to know that I'm praying for you, and that you should, if you need prayer, please feel free to reach out to me. All right, let's get started. We're doing a new format, so I'm a little wonky, but we'll get this down. Please bear with us. All right, gratitude check. Look, I am very, very grateful in spite of all the craziness. My son responded. I asked him to come down and give me a hand this weekend. He came down and did some errands for me. I got a bunch of stuff so that I can garden over the next few weeks. As you all know, the guidelines have been extended to April 30th, at least the federal ones. So I really, really appreciate not just him. I have an amazing relationship with all of my children, with my wife and the people around me. And so I just really wanted to point out that even in this time, there are great things going on. If you really want to keep your spirits up, what you need to do is to be grateful. So this is the gratitude check. You should actually find something to be grateful for every day. I've talked about this before, but I am grateful in my life for technology, for the sun coming up, for the weather being good, for my wife when she's loud in the other room. I think she's talking to my daughter-in-law and talking about the grandbabies. So I don't know. My whole system just crashed on me. Hang on, guys. Of course. Okay, that's not going to work. So anyways, that was it. All right, deal of the day. This is a new segment in the show. This is going to be regular. It's going to stick around. Here we go. All right. Deal of the day is coming from Root and Branch Bistro and Bar. They are actually doing a very good job, like many of our small independent restaurants, going to curbside, offering these to help the family. Root and Branch has a family meal to go. It's 2 meals for $25 and 4 meals for $50. You can find that on their Facebook page. I'm sure Jay is bringing that up. And you can also find it on their website. They have great detail. The family meal pack is there's 3 meals you can choose from. All of that is actually an amazing deal. I don't know any place you can get a salad, an entree, and a dessert for $12 a head. And that's basically what this is. Family meal for 2, $25. Family meal for 4 is $50. You really have to go support our local restaurants. I'm not sure you can cook that much stuff for $12 a person if you buy the stuff and cook it yourself. So reach out. All right. We are going to go to commercial break. When we come back, I'm so excited because we have had Brandee Thunberg on our show before. She was one of our early interviews at our shorter format. She also worked with us. There was a double booking, so I interviewed her during Martin Luther King Day. And now she has written a book called the keys to a high performance lifestyle. We're going to have her back on. She's going to talk about the book and all the things that we need to do to gain a high performance lifestyle, and some of the wonderful things going on in her life and around the country through her work. All right, and we're going to go to commercial break, and when we get back, Brandee's going to join us. See you in a minute.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Are you tired of having drugs or alcohol ruin your life? Do you need to get off pain pills but still maintain pain relief? My office in Tavares has programs to help you. While not covered by insurance, program fees are affordable. My name is Alan Zupkin. I'm board certified and have helped thousands of patients achieve these goals. Please call me for further information.
Bergeron, located in the Epic Theater shopping plaza on Highway 27, is the premier destination for gourmet burgers. Using only the freshest ingredients, Bergeron offers a variety of burgers, salads, wings, and a whole lot more. Beef, chicken, lamb, fish, and even veggie. Bergeron has something for everyone, no matter your dietary preference. Bergeron, millions of possibilities, endless combinations.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
And welcome back. You are obviously watching Joe Knows South Lake, and we are joined by my dear friend Brandee Thunberg. Brandee, welcome, kiddo.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Hey, thanks for coming on and dealing with all the craziness through the technology. Really, really appreciate you. You know, when we first booked Brandee, it was we booked her a few months ago, actually, for Good Friday, because she's a teacher and it was the day she has off. Because school isn't in session. And that's been the trick with scheduling Brandee, is that I have to schedule her when school is out of session, because she is a full-time teacher. So we took advantage of the fact that schools are shut down and her schedule is a little more flexible than it normally is. So thanks, Brandee, for coming on and adjusting your schedule and being with us. Absolutely. All right. In case you don't remember, Brandee Thunberg is the author. I always mess up her name. I'm getting it good, though. I'm getting better, aren't I?
You are. You are.
She is the author of...
Everybody off.
I got to put my glasses back on to read my own notes. Okay. All right. Brandee is the author of The Keys to a High Performance Lifestyle. This is the book I showed you just a few minutes ago. She is an integrative nutrition health coach. She is a certified integrative nutrition health coach. She is the creator of the High Performance Lifestyle 12-week coaching program, and she is a full-time K-5 art teacher at Grassy Lake Elementary. Oh my gosh, Brandee! I am always amazed by people like you, because I have a hard enough time just getting to where I got to go on time and getting my business running and meeting the people I have to meet. You are just doing so many amazing things. Is it possible for a guy like me to be awesome like you?
Thank you, Joe. That's very sweet. And yes. The thing is that you're talking about things that I'm very passionate about. So it's easy to do the things that you're passionate about. It doesn't feel like work. So that's kind of how it works for me. And the schedule is working out great. So no complaints.
Well, I got to tell you, because I'm married to a teacher, I know what the workload of a teacher is. And please give us an update. How is this whole shutdown and COVID thing affecting you? I mean, give us an idea of some of the hoops you've had to jump through. Well, this interview isn't about that. I'm sure people want to know.
Sure. So for me personally, I'm now teaching art virtually, which is a new experience, and I'm excited to take that on. I think, my students and I were going to rock it. And as far as health coaching, half of my clients already were virtual because they're kind of scattered throughout the United States. So that hasn't been too much of an issue. The other half, we've just gone to the online platform, and we're still connecting. I have amazing clients, and they're just fun to be with. I'm in the middle of a squat challenge, giving one extra support, and every night doing my squats, texting them, making sure they're doing theirs. And sometimes that's what you've got to do. You just give that little bit of extra, and we're having a blast doing it. So you feel it. For me, I feel a lot more gratitude, and I've already got a good gratitude practice, but I feel much more gratitude and appreciation, for sure. And just starting to really think about priorities and values, and are my daily tasks aligning with the things that I want them to align with? I think there's a lot of people that realize how busy we were. And busy doesn't necessarily mean productive or accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. So I think there's a lot of people trying to find that balance, and some people not wanting to go back to what it was before we all, started social distancing. So just thinking through some of those things. I've been fielding a lot of calls pertaining to anxiety and things along that nature. So
I think, what I think is amazing that you pointed out is that, we have to, we have to get to a place where we can see not just the bad that's going around us, but the good. And even in this, you have all these things. And I think maybe it was you I shared with. I saw somebody on Facebook. It said, if you're not doing those things you said you'd do if you had the time, then it's time to accept you're just not going to do those things. I find even in my own self is it's easy to waste time even sitting at home. It's easy to get sucked into the whole, well, I have time, I have all the time in the world, so I'm just going to watch this one show, and then you end up binge watching 6 hours of TV on a Sunday afternoon where before you never would have done that because you had so much stuff to do, right? And I think that gets into the next question. We'll talk about this once we start talking about the book itself. Yeah. But I'm very interested, the difference between people like you many times and people like me is, I get passionate about a lot of stuff, but I don't always add the work it takes to be accomplished. I mean, you're an accomplished coach, now an accomplished author, an accomplished teacher. And so as going through the book, you have some things in there I want to talk about, how to get from that place of being passionate and wanting something to the place of actually doing something to make it happen. So let us know, how did you come to write a book?
I can't tell you I had this burning desire my whole life to write a book. Writing was actually my weakest subject area. So I can't tell you that was on my radar, but I all of a sudden just felt it was something that I needed to do. It was like this outside force, you need to do this. And of course, my first reaction was, I don't have time for this. Like, I don't have time. Are you kidding me? And I'm not a good writer. How am I going to put all this together? So it was interesting. And it was like, no, you need to do this. So finally I was like, well, I need to stop ignoring this and I need to sit down and get this done. And when I sat down, everything just flowed. And what you find in this book is exactly what I do with my clients. It's the process that we take. The book is broken down into 5 weeks, so it's a catalyst. So it's like little tidbits and nuggets to get you thinking and get you working. And then obviously the 12-week program is where you dive into the nitty-gritty, and you really start pulling more and more apart. So you go from the beginning, you get a little deeper, things like that. But the book was very, very organic. Just, it's something that I just kept getting the message I needed to do. So, lo and behold, it's done.
Well, let me ask you this as a along that line, where do you see the book in the process? Do you see the book in, people should read the book, and the book is broken down into 5 weeks. Again, we're going to talk about the form of the book, some of the stuff that's in it in a minute. But do you see the book as the beginning part of the process, and then if they can manage that, maybe they should go into the 12 weeks, or is the book really kind of on the other side? Should somebody get into the 12 weeks, and the book is more of a support workbook sort of thing? Where do you see it in the process?
I think it depends where you're at. Because I have some clients, they come to me and they're gung-ho, they're ready. They've had, sometimes an external force, something happened, and they're like, I need to change my habits. I'm done. What do I need to do? For them, diving into the 12-week course with the passion, the energy that they have, the dedication, they're ready for that. But then there's other people that are a bit skeptical, and they're like, I don't know if this is for me. I'm not sure how I feel about this. And then also, it's sometimes with the group process and the one-on-one process, and with me working with people, sometimes they need to get to know me a little bit more. And the book kind of allows that to happen. It kind of opens the door to the thought process and the type of work that you could expect to do. So I think it depends where you're at. For a lot of people, it will be the book. It will be the book that's going to be that jump start. And that's why I called it a catalyst. It really just kind of gets that fire burning as to what your life could really look like when you change, the habits, the things that you're doing, change your mindset.
Now, you referred to the 12-week course and to the 5 weeks. And you keep talking about, you talked about your clients. Generally, you started this as just a health thing, right? I mean, you were a health coach to begin with, correct?
Yes, absolutely, and still am. Yes. So I have 2 certifications. I have one through IIN, which makes me an integrative nutrition health coach. That is life coaching and health coaching blended together. And then I have from Dr. Sears Wellness, a certified health coaching certification. So I have both. What I love about that is that it allows me to really, and not Band-Aid things. Let's get to the root cause of what's going on. A lot of times when someone's coming with like a weight struggle, it's not yes, it is eating habits, but a lot of times they're coming from something else that's happening in their life. So being trained to be able to notice some of those things and to gently start to pull that out, that's when you can have real transformation start to happen. And I love being able to do that. It's just some pretty cool things happen. But yeah, I started out just helping people. After my story and healing myself and my family, people just started coming to me. So I was like, well, I should get certified so that I can really share good information that I know is top quality. And it just kind of built from there.
I want to say that since I know your story a little more intimately, you did this while being a teacher and a mom and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
This is something you were able to take, it's not like you have, your husband's also a teacher, so it's not like, you were able to say, well, I'm going to take a year of my life and get this certificate. You did this while you did. And it's one of the things I think is cool about your story is that you didn't have to take 6 months off to write a book. You wrote a book while you were a teacher and a mom and a wife and a health coach. You became a health coach while you were a teacher, a mom, and a wife, and dealt with the rest of life. So many people miss that. And, I think that that's an important thing to point out. Look, we're going to talk about the book. We're going to go to commercial break. When we get back, we are still going to be joined by Brandee. We're going to talk about some of the specifics of this book and how you can use it to help change your life so that you can live a high-performance lifestyle. We'll see you in a minute. Don't go away. You need this information.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Your CBD store Claremont provides a wide range of high-quality, full and broad-spectrum CBD products. Topical creams, tinctures, water solubles, edibles, and even CBD products for your pets. From soil to oil, your CBD store Claremont sources and provides third-party lab tests for all products so that you know exactly what you're getting. Stop by your CBD store Claremont today to speak with one of our knowledgeable staff members to find the right CBD product for you.
Life is better when you're smiling. At Modern Orthodontics, Dr. Alan Wong has changed thousands of lives helping patients achieve the modern smile with braces and clear aligners. Utilizing digital scanning technology, Modern Orthodontics creates in-office 3D models for clearly modern aligners. Modern Orthodontics is conveniently located in Claremont, Apopka, and Bushnell. Call or text us to schedule your free exam and create your modern smile today.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Mike's up.
And welcome back. We are joined by Brandee Thunberg, a certified life coach, a mom, a teacher, somebody who has just filled their life, and she has written a book called Keys to a High Performance Lifestyle. Brandee, one of the cool things about this type of interview in this community is that we can, Brandee was able to get me her book, was it last week before? And, you know, with the craziness, I haven't gotten all the way through it, but I have gotten into some very amazing things. And one of them I thought was really telling was where you start up. What is your why? Right in chapter 1.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that's cool about the book, let's talk about this for a second, is as I was going through the book, I realized it was as much a workbook as it is a reading book. Tell me about that.
So it was really important to me that the book wasn't just something you read. You know, you read a chapter, put it down, kind of forget about it. It's something that I wanted you to interact with because I want to change lives and I want to make an impact. And in order to do that, you have to interact with what you're reading and you have to apply it. So by going ahead and making it, more of an interactive journey where you're answering some of those tougher questions and you're creating some of those thought patterns around this material, then you're able to create that awareness to start making any changes that need to be made. But it also gives you a chance to see where you're doing really good. Because there are things in here that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm totally rocking that. But this one over here, I need a little bit more help with. And it just gives you some clarity. So I really wanted it to be something that you're writing in, you're marking up, you're highlighting.
Now, I do that with books anyways, but it's because of who I am. It's the reason I tend not to borrow books. And the reason that frankly, I'm not a big fan of, I like Audible books and I like electronic books, but if I get to a book that I think is really this has information I need to internalize, I will always buy the hard copy and mark it up. So we were talking about this. You start right with what is your why? And the thing that actually stuck out to me about that is that you start asking some hard questions right off the top. You know, things like what lights you up, what makes you come alive, how will you measure your life, what motivates you? You know, those are hard questions. Mm-hmm. You know, and as you ask these questions, what if I don't know the answer to it? You know, it's, again, the thing that's really stuck me was what motivates me, okay? And that, you know, I could say money motivates me, or I could say people motivate me, but the truth is I'm not really quite sure. How do we come to that place?
So it's interesting. I do ask some of those hard questions, and some of those questions are things that we've put by the wayside because we create what we think is supposed to be our ideal life or what's expected of us, or we're trying to live mom and dad's expectations or things like that, and we take those answers and stuff them. But by opening that back up, that gives us the reason to make the changes we need to make, to do the things that we need to do. I mean, without my why, I wouldn't have accomplished everything that I've accomplished so far. And when you get stuck, it's really a matter of reflecting and really thinking that through and writing it out. So I know you mentioned a couple of different things that you were like, well, maybe I would challenge you to write those out. What is it about, people or money that you feel make you get motivated? So what are the nitty-gritty parts of that? And that is where I've gotten a lot of feedback on the book as well, with people who are like, oh my gosh, I never realized that I really, truly am lit up by this. I didn't realize, I want to spend my life doing this, but that's not where I'm at right now. And it's really cool to see that happen. And then I'm always just a phone call away. So for everybody out there, it's easy to just find me and get a hold of me. And I can help you talk you through any of that.
And I think too that one of the themes that I really like is that concept of work it out. Which is the title of a book by Kate Miner, another local author. Maybe I should put, I know so many authors, maybe I should put you all together in a room.
That'd be great.
That's a seminar that we can do on South Lake TV. There's a symposium for you. But the thing I like is the concept of, you're not talking about taking time out of your life to do this. You're talking about getting into the nitty-gritty. One of the things I liked, you start referring to it, although you don't actually say it specifically, you keep referring to a lot of these as journal questions. And I'm a big fan of journaling and utilize my journal for a lot of the big change and just getting through the rough spots in life. And many times those questions are just tough. The things like, what do you want to achieve with self-care? Self-care for me is a cheese sandwich in front of a binge watch of Letter to the King. So it's hard to get to that. And I really like the fact that you dial it down. I found it absolutely amazing. And again, I'm sure most people come to this book through a desire for health. And by the way, I want to mention that, Brandee, you are now number 5 on Amazon for health books.
The number 5 new bestseller for the healthy living category. I'm number 3 in 2 categories, and I was number one new bestseller in several categories. So
you gotta love that. I mean, that's one of the cool things too is I will tell you, a lot of new authors, they get a coach. There's a cottage industry in helping people become authors and market their books. But Brandee figured it all out on her own.
I did. That's usually how I learn everything. The hard way. You
got to do it. So even in this first chapter, you get into time management, which I think so many people tend to miss. But for you, it's a foundational principle. Okay.
Yeah.
You talk about things, but the thing I've got the most action out of, which was actually frightening, was your list, your task list. Complete your time tracker. And this is a concept I learned many years ago. We used to call it a daily time, a TMI, time management inventory. Not to be confused with too much information. Time management inventory, which was a daily track, and I've gotten away from this. It's actually scary. Some of the things I spend my time, the amount of time I spend doing some things. How did you come up with this? Was this just something out of your life or something you found working with clients?
Both. It's really hard to talk time management with people when they don't know where their time is going. And the biggest thing I hear from clients is, I don't have time. I don't know how I'm going to implement this. I don't have time. And when you start to look at time and get down to the nitty-gritty of where you're spending it, and then you add in your why and your priorities and see if your time matches your priorities, where are you spending your time? You start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much time on this and so much time on that. And I know with social media, the average person now spends over 2 hours a day on social media. And I bring that up in the book as well. And it's like, do we need to? Because you could spend a half hour doing meal planning, a half hour doing some self-care, a half hour exercise, and you still get 30 minutes on social media. So it's a matter of really looking at it and making sure that your time is reflecting the things that you want it to reflect. If you want more family time, then what else can kind of go by the wayside? So just like you said, for you, it's an eye-opener.
You know, and there is a concept, and it goes hand in hand, I think, with time management, that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And it's hard to remember. For me, it's the things I slip into. It's not something that I set out to do. It's something I slip into. For instance, on my tracking day, I realized that I played 2 hours on a phone game. I mean, if I was honest about my time, actually, I had to do it twice. I did it one day and then realized I had lied to myself all day long because I wasn't tracking it as I went. I was tracking it, you know, in like 3 hour blocks and trying to, okay, I spent 10 minutes doing this, 15 minutes doing that. When I did it every half hour, it was easier to get honest with myself. But I spent 2 hours on a phone game, you know, which every time I'd said, well, I'll check in for 5 minutes and do 2 things. It just didn't work out like that, you know. And it wasn't one whole 2 hour block,
Right.
you know, but, you know, 4 half hour blocks, you know, or 15-minute blocks add up in the day. And so that I thought was really, I think that was the eye-opening part, is how many unintentional things end up sucking up my time. So I want to move on to week 2, which is, I don't know what chapter it is, but it's week 2, high-performance lifestyle. You go from, now, you haven't talked about health yet. We've talked about goals. We've talked about time. Then you get into mindset.
Yes. So a high-performance lifestyle isn't just about health. It's about the synergy that you can create with your body and your mind, getting those things aligned with your why, your priorities, so that you can create that high-performance lifestyle, the whole lifestyle. So the second week we go into mindset. And I do that very intentionally because a lot of times the things that are holding us up are all right here. They are all right here.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about mindset because everybody talks about mindset, and they do it more in a rah-rah fashion. You know, if you just believe, and you'll do, and you believe, and you do, and you do, and believe,
Yes.
and you get your plan, and you work the plan, and get the plan, you know, I think you got a little more intimate here. Because there's a whole section in here. You start the mindset. You have an assessment, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But then you get into self-worth. And, you know, this is a place that many people just waste years or spend years trying to get a hold of. And the 2 questions that really stuck out to me was, what do you feel worthy of, and what do you feel not worthy of? Again, 2 questions that are, you know, kick you in the butt, make you put the phone down, put down the book. I'm like, and I honestly have to say, the reason I didn't get through the book is I got places where I was stuck, where I was like, I'm not going to face that now. I'm trying to do an interview. I'm just going to do this whole light thing. But, you know, it's not light necessarily.
Right.
Tell us why you had to go there.
Well, so kind of like you said, it's easy to look at it and put it to the side and not want to talk about it. But if you get real with yourself and you think about why you want to push it to the side and not talk about it, you're really going to start figuring things out.
Yeah, because it hurts in here. I don't want to face emotions.
Exactly. It's uncomfortable.
Right.
But until we face that, we won't realize how much resistance that's creating for everything that we're doing. You're going to start to see that it's showing up in, you know, subtle ways, because it's something that we've gotten so used to, that some of those things that we're telling ourselves are just so natural that we don't realize it's stopping us from accomplishing certain things or getting to the next step somewhere or being the person that we want to be. So it is a little tough, but if you do the work, that's where the beauty is going to start to happen. So you have to give yourself some time to interact with this. And it's not necessarily the lightest read where you're going to just read one thing and toss it to the side. Because my guess is, Joe, you've probably been thinking about those questions a whole lot since you put the book down.
Oh, well, I didn't say I stopped there. And that's the whole thing of it. It's my son calls those sticky phrases. Yeah. And a good teacher asks them. And my wife and I do a lot of work with addicts and in that field, and and it's always that stuff. And so, you're writing a book about high performance lifestyle. You tend to think that's people who are already successful and want to become successful. But what we find is even with the lowest homeless person, even with the most broken addict, if they can work on these subjects, I got to honestly say, I knew when I got to these places, I started to work through them, I knew that I was going to be recommending your book to several people, people that my wife and I work with, because I think that there's a lot here that's in it, just like you. Your book is this humble thing. At first glance, it looks like just a self-help book to help pick me up and make me feel good, but it actually has life tools that are going to change my entire life. So I want to say thank you for writing the book. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the rest of the book? We don't have a lot of time left. I just check it out. I mean, see how it resonates with you. It is on Amazon. I did provide the link, but I can also attach it to the recording of the video. One thing that I am doing that I wanted to offer to everybody that's watching, I'm going to do next week a 5-day Cultivating Calm challenge. I feel like that's something that's really important right now. There's anxiety that's really high, a lot of emotions. So I'll be promoting that. So if you text Sunshine to 26786, you'll get the link to join that group. And for 5 days, I'll be interacting with you. I've already got some guests on board to join us as well. And it's going to be some ways to just kind of take a deep breath and figure out how to create some calm around what's happening, how to feel more in control, less overwhelmed, which are all things that you do find in the book. So I do want to offer that for everybody as well. So it's just Sunshine to 26786. And two, I want to finish talking about the book. The next 3 weeks in the book is self-care, nutrition, and movement. And I've talked ad nauseum on the show about, for those of us who are isolating, getting outside, moving, just move. Look, maybe you can't jog. Maybe you can't ride a bike 50 miles, but get out, walk around your block, do something for 15 minutes in the sun, just being outside. And I've actually been doing some research and found out that in 1918, one of the ways that they treated the Spanish flu was by putting patients outside in the sun. Yep. And because fresh air and sunlight have a natural disinfectant healing property, that sunlight allows your body to process vitamin D. So I just want to encourage people. This book is a whole lot, like I said, it looks like this light, humble, quick read. It is a quick read if you don't answer the questions. But it looks like this humble little thing, and you will get so much out of this. It's not even funny. I could, Brandee could have easily milked this into a full book with a full workbook, but she didn't. So it's affordable. Like you said, we can get it on Amazon and everything. Brandee, I just really want to thank you for joining us and helping us. Just for being you, for being the kind of person that does this sort of thing in addition. So many people would have been satisfied with teacher, okay? But you weren't. You made your whole life into helping others. I really appreciate it. So what's next for Brandee Thunberg and High Performance? By the way, High Performance Lifestyle is the name of the 12-week group coaching course, correct?
Yes, it is.
So tell us a little bit about that if we're interested. How do we get a hold of you for that?
First of all, thank you for having me, Joe, and all the nice, sweet things that you said. I love being here. I love your energy. I love this platform and the way that you're communicating with our community. I think it's awesome. To get a hold of me, you can reach me at sunshinetransformations.com. Where am I headed next? So I've been speaking and sharing and just working on getting people healthy. That's what my passion is. Like, it really is creating high performance lifestyles where everyone just looks, feels, and performs at their best every day and gets rid of all of the other junk that just isn't quite as important. So that's where I'm headed.
Once again, Brandee, thank you very much. Her book can be found on Amazon.com, and it really is worth getting. Do you have an electronic version as well?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can get the electronic version, the Kindle version. Have one. I'm going to say get a hard copy, and even get a notebook to go with it. Just get yourself a steno book or a composition book to go with it. You won't regret it. It's really something that will play you forward. And we're going to go to commercial break. Don't go away. I have a couple of final thoughts, and then we'll be done. We'll see you in a minute.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Hello, my name is Michael Singh with Singh Insurance and Financial Services. Our goal is to build trust based on a clear understanding of how your insurance policy protects you, your family, and even your business. When was the last time you took a good hard look at your insurance coverage? Would you be open to the possibility of reviewing your policy with me? One review of your policy can save you valuable time and money. Call me today to set up a review of what may be available to you.
50 West, pre-leasing now in Claremont. A first-of-its-kind commercial development in the Southeast. Contact us today to reserve your spot in this historic development. 50 West, unique, quality, Class A. For more information on leasing, contact Ashley Punn at 407-403-4165. Karen Arlano at 407-948-0767. Or visit lease at 50west.com.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Welcome back. Hey, I want to say thank you for joining us. It's a great episode. We have some great people on this week. Kimberly Grogan from Dash Sports is going to be on tomorrow. We have on John Cawthorn is going to be on Wednesday to talk about dealing with the stress and the anxiety. We've had John on before. He's a counselor and a dear friend of mine, a veteran. So he's going to talk about how we can deal with some of the things that, the scary world that we're living in today. And to that subject, Cup of Joe today is about being mindful. Look, it's easy to get sucked into things that do not matter, whether it's on TV, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter. Everybody seems to have an opinion, and because of social media, even though we're isolated, they can share it. Look, we have come to a place in the country where we can, and I know in my own personal life, it's easy for us to do things and worry about the consequences later. To think about things, to drive off to work and I'll get that done later, and it doesn't matter if I do this, and I'll eat another cheeseburger, and I'll avoid another phone call to my mom and dad, or my kids don't need me. Look, if this time doesn't teach you anything, it should teach you that we should take nothing for granted. Be mindful of your life and those around you. Be mindful of what 15 minutes of exercise can do for your health. Be mindful of what that extra cheese sandwich does to your body. And maybe if you're 23 or 34, it doesn't, but trust me, someday it will. Now, I just want to say thank you for joining us. Again, like, love, and share on the socials. If you know a teacher or you know somebody who needs some of the information we talked about today, please tag them in it and share this on your social media. And finally, I would like to remind you that, and if you know somebody wants to be a guest, I am looking for a parent, student, teacher subject to cover while we are in isolation, so we can get the perspective from the people in the trenches. I would like to say, please, if you know somebody who should be a guest on Joe Knows South Lake, please let us know. Business people affected by COVID, or anybody with a cool story, so we could lighten it up a little bit. I'd really appreciate it. I'm sure Jay has the information up on the screen. And finally, as Brandee is doing, using her greatness to bring out the greatness in others, there is greatness in you. And just because you're isolated, or just because we're in these times, doesn't mean that you can't use your greatness. Now, it's more important for you to use your greatness to bring out the greatness in others. Send a message, send a card, send a text, make a phone call, drop off some groceries or some takeout for somebody. Do something for somebody else. You'll feel much better, and you'll touch a life, and the world will change. You may never see the change, but it will change nonetheless. This has been Joe Carlisle and Brandee Thunberg on Joe Knows South Lake. I will see you tomorrow, and I truly do love you. Bye-bye.
My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe Knows South Lake. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors: